You're listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Farris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
Faith, freedom, and the best music of the 80s and 90s. You are listening to Sunny 93.3. We've got Mr. Dan Farris joining us here for about an hour. We've called the bonus hour with Dan Farris. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing pretty well. It's another good day to have a good day.
It is a good day to have a good day.
Sure, that sounds cheesy, but I don't care. Good day to have a good day. Where were you in 1976? Goodness gracious, you were just toddlers.
I was.
You were both toddlers.
Yes.
Toddling somewhere.
There I was, downtown. It was either the Skyway Theater. It could have been West Minneapolis at the Terrace Theater. Either way, I remember. I was at the movies, and who knew that just a year later it would take the Oscar for Best Film. Ladies and gentlemen, this day, 1976. Dun 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 dun. Rocky premiered for the first time in New York City with an unknown Sylvester Stallone. Yep.
You know he's got a brother named Frank?
I sure do. I sure do, John. I know my Rocky, make no mistake. In fact, Sylvester, who is now 227 years old,
He's looking good for us, though.
still has the pet turtles he bought from Adrian at the pet store back in 1976 in that film.
That's super cool.
For $1 million you'll never see from me, what were those turtles' names?
I don't know.
Mork and Mindy.
Cuff and Link.
Ah!
Isn't that something?
It's adorable.
This has been such a great walk down memory lane.
We've
for
all
me.
learned something.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting to me, that was the original Rocky. And so a lot of people don't realize, even though they've seen the movie maybe several times, you go, well, you know, Rocky lost that fight. He did? Yeah, Apollo Creed whooped him. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, lost that first fight. And never lost another one.
Well, I think he did.
Not in the Rocky series.
He never lost another fight?
I don't think so.
I thought he got beat up by Clubber Lang.
Oh, yeah, he gets beat up, but then he came back and took him.
And then Hulk Hogan, whatever his guy was. And then Ivan,
That
what's his
wasn't
name?
a fight. That was a promotion. You don't know your Rocky.
I really need to
Just stay out of this Rocky thing, John Small.
dust off the old copy of Rocky and
This
watch
is
it.
sacred ground, my friend.
Sorry about that.
One of the best lines ever. Rocky, oh, man, Rocky 2 with Burgess Meredith. Don't get in the ring with him, Rocky. He'll kill you to death.
He'll kill you to death.
He'll kill you to
He'll kill you
death.
to death.
I like Heidi's Burgess better
That
than
is, that is frighteningly good, Heidi.
we learned a little something about that today, too. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris. And also, apparently, Heidi as Burgess Meredith.
Channeling Burgess Meredith.
On Sunny.
Before you know it, Christmas will be here. Are you ready? If you plan to use a credit card while shopping, make sure you have the very best credit card for you. It's free to click around and see what we can do for you at bettercreditcards.net. We have options from many different banks and different credit card companies who put out their best offers to earn your business. See if we can help you get a better credit card at bettercreditcards.net. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Faith, freedom, and the best music of the 80s and 90s. You are listening to Sunny 93.3. It's time now for Ranger Dan's Critter Corner.
Well, I'm rough, tough, and ready. I'm a heck of a man. Eat my beans and weenies from a frying pan.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I loves to wrestle bears and lasso ducks. Run over possums in my government truck.
He's Ranger Dan.
Easy. I'm Ranger Dan. Well, I loves all the campers and the animals, too. If you're picking on critters, I'm coming after you.
He's Ranger Dan.
Yes, sir. I'm Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
Good morning, Ranger Dan.
There you go. Eyes wide open. Take on another day. There you go. Radio Rangers, you scamperoos, you little criminal, you crazy little tax write-offs. Gather around your rad dad daddy-o. Because Ranger Dan, your daddy-o, is going to take off a little critter knowledge for you.
Nice. I see what you did there.
Whew, I'm up all night practicing that. Burned through another 12 of PBR to get to that place. I'll tell you what. You know, again, I think we mentioned it the other day, Thanksgiving right around the corner. In fact, about a week from today. So, some little turkey news for you. Did you know turkeys and chickens, are they similar? Well, to look at them a little bit, one, of course, is smaller than the other. But did you know, and this is no kidding, you know, the turkey's been around approximately 45,000 years longer as far as evolution goes.
Really?
Really?
Turkey has been?
Yep, chicken's kind of new when you get down to the poultry world as far as evolution and
Interesting.
what came first and what not. So
So what did come first, the chicken or the egg?
that's a darn good question, John. Nobody really knows that. And thank you to stay out of my personal affairs. You know, kids, I'm sure your mom, your aunt, your grandma, whatever the case may be, wherever you sit down to your Thanksgiving dinner, there's that bird at centerpiece, of course, and someone went to the grocery store and got that bird. But that hasn't always been the case. Used to be you had to go and get that bird yourself.
Yeah.
Matter of survival.
That's right.
Founding fathers didn't go to the supermarket to get a bird.
No, they did not.
Pilgrims didn't go out and get their own bird. In fact, pilgrims, heck, they made the Native Americans go get the bird while they sat around drinking mead and watching the Detroit Lions lose a football game. So it's come to our attention, if you go across the border, great state of Minnesota, Worthington, that's turkey capital of the world. You may or may not know that.
I did not know that.
I know they have turkey days, but that's apparently why.
Turns out, according to one of my associates, if you hang around on Oxford Street there, right outside the Quick Trip, a big old truck full of turkeys is going to pull up, and on occasion, that driver will just abandon that truck, go in and play $20 worth of scratch tickets, use the restroom, whatever the case may be, but those turkeys are out there, and the elements being somewhat abused. So it turns out I've got about 127 live turkeys. That's what we're going to do. Now it's in Ranger Dan first annual turkey trot.
Nice.
It's more of a life experience kind of thing. I think turkey's anywhere from 79 to 89, 99 cents a pound. So you're going to pay, good $12, $15 for maybe a 12-pound bird. And for just $10 this coming Saturday starting at 6 a.m. We're going to be out at the Mary Jo Wagner Arbitrarium. We got it penned off, and every 60 seconds we're going to launch one of those turkeys into the pen, which you can bring your own firearm. You can bring a bow and arrow. It's up to you. Heck, just grab a rock out of the parking lot.
So it's kind of like chopping down your own Christmas tree. It's
$10. You bag your own bird. We'll give you a sack to put it in. If you'd like to use our equipment for additional $10, we'll hand you over a Savage Series 320 semi-automatic 12-gauge shotgun and 3 shells. And the other rip potato chip. Imagine the pride of sitting down and going, yep, I bagged that bird myself.
That'd be fun.
So again, that's starting at 6 a.m. out at the Mary Jo Wagner Arbitrarium, just east of Sioux Falls, the first annual Ranger Dan Turkey Trot. Well, that's it for today. I'm Ranger Dan reminding you, little radio rangers, go to church, say your prayers, stay in school, eat your vegetables, don't be playing soccer, and goodness gracious, don't let me catch you wearing Crocs. Ranger Dan out? Yeah, sir.
And Ranger Dan's Critter Corner sounds awfully dangerous. Right here on Sunny 93.3.
If you have a drug problem, don't let it ruin your life. You can be in treatment as soon as tomorrow, and you can start to get clean in as little as 7 days. Take the first step to get drugs out of your life at timeforrehab.com. Your insurance may cover everything, so you really have nothing to lose. Timeforrehab.com. Start your new life. You deserve it. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Faith, freedom, and the best music of the 80s and 90s. You are listening to Sunny 93.3. It's time right now for Water Cooler Talk, brought to you by Aqua One. Dan Farris back in the studio right now with some important news. Is this important news?
No, it's important. You know what? This is more of a segment in my investigative reporting feature here where it's more like what Dan knows.
Oh, okay.
What Dan knows. And again, I've tried to stay out of this, kind of stay away with it, but we're going back to, because it's only about, 48 hours old now, the big new anti-meth campaign.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Launched by the state of South Dakota, and there's so much noise out there and so much misinformation out there. And in fact, I mentioned this, I think, in yesterday's segment, going about the only thing that really kind of honked me off about it is that about $500,000 went out of state agency, but then I had to catch myself and think it through and go, okay, wait a minute, I've been involved in this. I spent better part of 8 years with an agency.
Yeah.
And what happens, certainly with the state and a lot of nonprofit organizations, they will have marketing and advertising budgets, but there are very specific rules and guidelines they have to go through as far as where that money is going to go. Mm. For instance, in this case, like if you just own a business, say you own a car lot or a little shop or whatever, it's your money. You can spend that however you want when it comes to your advertising or marketing. When it comes to government, they have to put out what's called a request for proposal.
RFP.
What that means is they will take all designated agencies, whoever's legit, whatever, and send it out. And it's got all the criteria on it. This is what we're looking for. This is our budget.
Yeah.
Right.
Would you like to play?
Yeah.
And what always happens is when, say they sent out 30.
Yeah.
Immediately half of those are going to go in the trash because that particular agency isn't geared for it. They don't have the time for it, or they're going to take a glance at it and go, that's just not how we work.
Yeah.
The other ones that want to get involved are really going to boil it down and go, do we have the staff in place to do this? Do we have the time to do this with the timeline set forth with everything else we have going on?
Yeah.
So now another bunch of them going to hit the trash because the answer is no.
Right.
And you're also going to have agencies that simply aren't set up for it. They don't all work the same. For instance, let's take our buddies at Lawrence and Schiller.
Yeah.
If you have a $25,000 marketing budget annually and you walk it into Lawrence and Schiller, they're going to very politely go,
Right.
no, but here's some other folks you might want to go see because they handle big budget campaigns.
Yeah.
So in other words, an agency is an agency, but they all act kind of differently.
Sure.
And then some of them are very specific. Take Paulson Agency in Sioux Falls. Been around forever. They can do anything, but their sweet spot and strong point is agriculture.
Okay.
And that's primarily what they work with. Okay? So you following me?
Yeah.
So by the time all this shakes out, you're left with a handful of viable players in this particular market.
Yeah.
Then interviews take place, and then it comes down to, what are we dealing with here really? Anyway, there was specific criteria as how this money ended up in Minneapolis. And I've got to say, from what I've seen, this probably was the best agency for this particular project. And it wasn't a matter of...
In hindsight.
Well,
maybe not.
Because what a lot of people think is, oh boy, somebody with the Nome organization must have a brother-in-law in this agency. No, it just isn't, because there's been several times, and I'll name names. Several years ago, I got an RFP request proposal from the State Theater.
Yeah.
Their budget, what they had set forth with a budget and what they wanted accomplished with that budget were two different universes.
Right.
Yeah.
Which isn't unusual for nonprofits.
Right.
You know, they don't have a lot of money. But the way we were set up for the time, it really came down to, you know, we might approach this just to have our name involved with it because it's kind of a cool thing and it's a community thing. So those things kind of take place too. But honestly, with the budget they had and what they wanted, in the real world, they should have had 3 times the budget to accomplish what they were going to accomplish.
Sure.
And somebody else stepped up and took the gig, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
So there's just a whole lot of factors that a lot of people don't realize. And the idea that Governor Kristi Noem, who make no mistake, she's sussy, actually
coffee with her one
is
time.
sitting there in her office going, well, I'm giving this to this agency.
No, there's
Not
a
there.
whole committee that
Not even
does all
close.
of that.
And then I'll say this, the way this thing took off, and I haven't seen the whole campaign. I'm not sure what all is even involved yet, but just that tagline, Meth went, you know what? I'm going to sit here today and go, brilliant. Good for you people. I wish I would have done that.
See, I disagree. But
I'm looking at total buzz because there's a whole lot more to this puzzle.
Yeah, there's a lot of exposure that
lot
it's got.
more to this puzzle.
yeah, a lot of exposure. Not necessarily positive.
But the idea, advertising and marketing are two different animals. Advertising is there to draw attention to a company, a product, service. The marketing is in place to help move that transaction forward. So with all the buzz on just meth, and again, who are they talking to? Are they talking to people who are actually suffering this horrible life? Or are they talking to people who are involved with the addict?
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts here. All I got to say, initially, bang, this thing came out of the chute, and it's not just national, it's global.
it is.
And I'm just going, wow, yup. Had I come up with that particular line and it did that, I'd be throwing myself a parade right now.
Yeah, it's like I said, getting the exposure, it definitely did.
So
got a lot of that.
Again, there's a lot more to come. And I just wanted to maybe try to help explain that process a little better
you,
so
Dan.
people understand. And also realize, when
We
it
don't
comes...
understand, though, because we're all on meth. So
Well, when it comes to dollars, though, agencies work no differently than a lot of attorneys. It's billable hours. You're on the clock with an agency.
Yeah.
And this may stun you, but kind of average agency rate, just say in Sioux Falls, runs about $100, $120 an hour.
Yeah.
That's coming out of that overall budget. That's not just advertising and placement.
Yeah.
There's research, there's planning, there's strategy, there's focus groups. A lot goes on before
we
something
need
gets
an
done.
agency, Heidi.
So
The John and Heidi Agency.
there you go. It's
John
pretty
and Heidi
crazy.
and Dan Agency.
And if you would like a marketing consultation for your business, I work for Prime Rib and about $140 an hour.
Nice.
That's 595-3827.
His name is Dan. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Coming up, we're going to visit with Mary Angela about an event coming up at the downtown library called Cozy Up to Mysteries. She's one of the authors that will be there. We'll chat with her in a bit.
The average household has thousands of dollars in credit card debt. If you find yourself in that position and you're making minimum payments, you could be in debt for a long time. Make sure you have the very best card with the very best rates at bettercreditcards.net. We work with different banks and different credit card companies who put out their best offers to earn your business. See if we can help you get a better credit card at bettercreditcards.net, bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Super excited to visit with Mary Angela. She's an author, and she's going to be in Sioux Falls for a program at the Siouxland Public Libraries next Saturday from 3 to 4. We've got Mary on the line right now. How you doing?
Good. Thanks so much for having me this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for taking the time to chat. Now, let's talk about the name of the program that is happening next Saturday. What is it called?
The name of the program is called Cozy Up to Mysteries with authors Mary Angela and Rosemary Ross. And Rosemary and I will be talking with the fantastic librarian downtown, Jane Healy, about our cozy mystery novels next Saturday from 3 to 4. So I'm super excited about the program. I've been downtown once before there and had a lot of fun talking to readers, and so we're looking forward to this event.
I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun. It's coming up next Saturday. Now, is there a fee to go to this, or is this a free event?
It's completely free. Readers can join us there, and we'll be doing an interview, and then we will be signing books afterwards if readers are interested in purchasing a book, or, checking one out from the library is also a good option.
Very nice. Now, are you from this area, or where are you actually from?
Yeah, I'm from Sioux Falls originally, and my books are actually set in South Dakota, which is, fairly unusual. A lot of writers set their books other places, but I chose to set my series on a small college campus in South Dakota in a fictional town called Copper Bluff.
Nice.
And so my books are set right here in South Dakota. And I know Rosemary Ross is also from the area as well. And her books are not set in South Dakota, but she's definitely a local author, so with connections to the area.
Now, when people pick up a book and get a chance to kind of start reading, they kind of get pulled into the world you create. So you get to kind of create this world. I like the fact that you came up with a fictitious town, but it's actually in our state. It's got to be really kind of neat. But how do you come up with all these different ideas? Because every character, you got to have a name for all the people. You have to name, in your case, a name for the town, a name for the school. Is it difficult to come up with all of that stuff?
Not really. I think if you're a creative person, you always are getting, ideas from all sorts of areas of your life. I myself taught at the University of South Dakota and the University of Sioux Falls, and so I spent a lot of time on college campuses, not only going to college myself, but also teaching at colleges. And so there was always a lot of inspiration there for the series, just in my daily life. Sometimes you can stumble on a character name and struggle with what to name a certain person, and you almost have to write and rewrite before you can connect to the characters completely. But usually, just kind of paying attention to what's going around outside and being in the moment, I find inspiration everywhere.
Well, I think it's really neat. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us about it, and I hope a lot of folks will make it out to see you next Saturday. Thank you so much for taking time to visit, Mary.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Again, it's called Cozy Up to Mysteries, and there'll be 2 different authors there. It is next Saturday, November the 30th, from 3 till 4 p.m. at the Downtown Library. All of the details at facebook.com/sunnyradio.
If you can't have a drink without it leading to another drink and another drink, maybe it's time to get help. There are programs designed to help take alcohol out of your life for good at timeforrehab.com. Don't let a drinking problem spill over into other areas of your life. Get help to quit drinking and start living the life you truly deserve at timeforrehab.com. Your insurance may cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Faith, freedom, and the best music of the 80s and 90s. You are listening to Sunny 93.3. It is time right now for entertainment news of the day with Mr. Dan Farris.
You know we love celebrities are fabulous. Even their pets smell better than you.
Probably.
It's crazy. I don't know if you guys have been tracking this or not, but it's been pretty fascinating to me. Kanye West, who I really didn't have much time for, ever.
Right.
And all of a sudden, Kanye has seen the light, and it's
pretty impressive.
Pretty nuts. He was on stage with Minister Joel Osteen.
Osteen.
Out of Houston, and it's like, yikes, really? Normally, that particular program will draw, depending anywhere from 700,000 to a little over 1 million viewers in a typical week.
Yeah.
Well over 4 million viewers.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that includes YouTube platforms and going back and forth on Facebook, too. So this is pretty massive. Apparently, Kanye is possibly every bit as, persuasive as he's been claiming for a decade or so.
Yeah, he's finally...
This is pretty neat, and there's a movement afoot, folks.
I just really, really, really hope that this isn't some big setup and it turns into something else.
I can't imagine.
I sure hope not.
I think so.
I sure hope that's not what's going on.
I don't think so. I've honestly seen a difference in his demeanor, the way he carries himself, even the expressions on his face. He looks so different.
Yeah, I'm normally really good with the red flag, red flag, and I'm not picking up on that,
Me
John.
either, I'm not either.
When I look at him, when I hear him interviewed, when I've seen just clips of his sermon, I'm going, okay, remain impartial. He's getting a little more buy-in from me. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a little hesitant, like you just mentioned, because what's real and what isn't. But I think it is kind of fascinating. I'll tell you what,
I think it's beautiful.
There's a whole lot worse roads you can go down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that. We'll keep you posted what happens there. Oh, and keep in mind tonight, not that I watch because Thursday night football is on. I believe it's Texans and the Colts, who are both 6-4, so that ought to be a really great football game. Oh, look at this. Christmas Under the Stars.
Oh, nice.
The Mistletoe Secret. And Christmas Land.
He's not even
the Hallmark Channel.
On the
tonight.
Hallmark Channel.
He's not even reading this out of a journal. He has this. Or he's not reading it off a website. He's got written in his own little journal. His to-do list for tonight. I just saw it, Dan.
I'll be watching the Colts Texas game. So don't be calling me with your what's happening on the Hallmark Channel, because that gets old.
Well, you have fun watching the game, Dan. Again, the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Farris on Sunny 93.3.